I want to start this off by saying that I've personally come to the defense of Jim Jones regarding his albums. There are some people that think he's a terrible rapper. I would disagree. And I also think that he does have more influence on fashion in hip hop than many give him credit for. That being said, Jim Jones also says some really bugged out and bogus things, and this latest one might be his worst. So on the recent Fat Joe and Jadakiss podcast, in a response to a comment that a 22-year-old had made saying that Jim Jones is more relevant than Nas, Jim responded by essentially agreeing with that 22-year-old. Now, he did big up Nas a bit and say that he was an influence, but then Jim went on a tirade comparing himself to Nas regarding sales, overall catalog, and kind of hinting that he feels he's better than Nas. And there really wasn't much pushback from Fat Joe and Jadakiss. They kind of let Jim speak. But in an attempt to big himself up, Jim came across as discrediting a legend and buying into the talking points that Nas isn't relevant to the youth. And recall, 21 Savage also made the same lame argument a couple years back. But when you take a brief moment to actually look up the validity of Jim Jones' sales argument, and that's something that Fat Joe and Jada should have done looking back, but when you do it, you quickly learn that Nas' overall sales completely blows Jim Jones's out the water. It's not even close. And obviously, real hip-hop heads, hardcore listeners, we don't really care much about sales. That's something more so the casual listener would be interested in. But if you have to look up this information, you will see Nas has multiple platinum albums, some multi-platinum albums, and Jim Jones only has gold albums. Yes, the popping, relevant Jim Jones does not have any platinum projects. Now, when we do talk singles, Nas still has bigger singles as a whole than Jim Jones. He has more hits, but Jim does technically have one single that charted higher than any Nas single, and that's Ballin'. I mean, Ballin' still, it was a smash regardless of what you think of it. So technically, Jim Jones can claim one song that beat out Nas as far as sales. But the reality is that really doesn't hold any weight in hip hop. It's one song compared to a whole catalog, and a lot of way less talented people have a big single. And to make it worse, Jim Jones had to add on that his son doesn't even know a Nas song. And he said it like it was something to be proud of. And on so many levels, that statement made Jim Jones look bad. Outside of hip hop, it still makes him look bad as a dad, as a parent. So yeah, I don't know what Jim Jones was thinking. It's very bugged out. It's very whacked out. I mean, look, it's understandable to be super confident and big up yourself, but it's another thing to be completely delusional and lack that self-awareness. That's kind of a problem. And notice the focus here was on sales, because if we get into overall rapping skill and impact, everyone in their right mind knows that in no world is Jim Jones on Nas' level. Jim Jones has put in work, no doubt, and he has some bangers, and yes, he has some good albums, likely more than some of his critics would want to admit, but he's clearly not going to be mentioned alongside as credible competition for Nas, because Nasir Jones is firmly cemented as one of the GOATs on the level of Jay-Z, on the level of Rakim, on the level of LL Cool J. There might be more of a credible argument to compare Jim Jones to a Amano, a Dave East, a Vado, maybe even Fab. That might be a stretch, but that sounds like more of an accurate comparison. But let me know your thoughts below. Is there anyone that thinks Jim Jones has a point? I doubt it. I mean, you could like Jim Jones. I even like Jim Jones' music, but you can still know that he's full of it here. But let me know your thoughts below. It's your boy Mixtape Muff. I'm out. One.